One topic that is very interesting for me to share with you. It's regarding how to apply new technology. And when I mean technology, I mean software. I mean maybe machine learning. So, and more, a bit more. There are several use cases in which you need to apply some optimization method to determine how to allocate different resources. Those might be, for example, workers from your team. Those might be, for example, any resource that you might have. It might be, for example, making the comparison with games. For example, if you like games, either it's sports, either computer games. Imagine, for example, that we now want to play Civilization 5, Civilization 7. Do you know that game? It's just a fun game of a strategy in which you have several resources, which are your troops. Those units might have different skills. You have to build them. They have a cost of maintenance and a cost of hiring. And those troops might be moved within the canvas, within the terrain, for example, to support a defense of a city or to conquer some part of the map that you would like to conquer. And you have battles against the other players, against another castle, for example, in which you would need some heavy power impact troops that might break into the castle walls and break the doors. Or you might, for example, need other types of troops. Imagine we're in the Middle Age, example, archers, which would fire their arrows from that plane. They can attack the enemy. To plan how many troops you're going to need for the next, let's say, 50 turns, which would be a period. Let's say how I'm going to organize my troops. And of course, I have my heroes, my elite troops, more experienced units, which are really expensive, but of course the best. And then I have other units with lower costs to develop that might also do the work. And of course, I don't know which would be the demand of troops that I will need to defend, to conquer, and win that game. So these constraints are a nice example that later I would like also to expand it to the business situation, of course. And for that problematic, nowadays, it's quite useful to understand that we have software that can optimize the problem in a static way. Let's say this is the situation. I have two other players that are attacking me from the southwest. I have a castle in the northeast that I want to defend. And then I might explore the other area of the map where there is a forest. There are some muddy waters, I don't know, some swamps, and we don't know what might be there. So imagine that scenario. We could use several static programs, but in addition to that, we might also create models that would try to, based on the historical games that we have already played or others have played, which would be the needs to allocate, assign those troops to those different parts of the map, for example, or situations in the next period of time. Well, of course, this is very useful also to allocate your team members, your resources, your workers to different services that your customers might need. Your customers are going to order those services and will need a specific profile with specific skills in the shortest time possible to give them the output of your service or your product. So that's the analysis that you might require to do. What are we talking about? We're talking about scheduling. Scheduling, allocate, in time, planning the schedule for my resources. There is a concept of software algorithms which is called mixed integer linear programming, which is very good to allocate resources with hard constraints, as we have limited resources, limited time, required limited skills, which that's perfect. But what else is good also? Here I would like to introduce the fact that we can use also to continuously improve that scheduling decisions based on changing demand. Reinforcement learning, which is a concept of artificial intelligence, of data science, can be of high value for these scenarios. I've discussed about this reinforcement learning. It's just a type of algorithms of software that is able to estimate an initial state, and from this state, exploit and explore based on a set of actions that we can implement into the algorithm, into the model, which would be the mostly reward related with the scenario we have. So here the idea and what I would like to discuss and make it as fun as possible. And as you know, I'm a data engineer, data architect from the professional world, but I love to discuss with you. So don't hesitate to ping me, to send me an email where in social networks if you would like to have more details about this. But our main topic here will be to describe what options the technology can offer for us to work on these scenarios. And I will try to go with the civilization gaming scenario, which it's really interesting because it's easy to then expand to more real use cases of business, whether no matter what industry you might be interested.